My future mother-in-law called me stupid, and now I'm considering calling off the wedding. How do I approach the situation? This was originally posted on June the 29th, 2024. I am a 23-year-old woman, and I'm engaged to John, who is 24. We're together for 5 years. We want to get married in July 2025. I always thought that his family liked me because we get along well. He has 2 older brothers, who are 26 and 29, who are both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. Some kind of important information. About a year ago, when I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw a profile that was kind of cringy, but in a cute way. It was an older woman's profile who shared inspirational quotes. I remember one particular post, and it was something along the lines of, "Only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend, just ask." Honestly, this quote changed me in a lot of ways. Before that, I was always worried that I might embarrass myself if I don't know something. And after reading that quote, I realized that if I always pretend that I know everything, then I'll miss out on actually getting to learn about things. So, I decided to change my habits and start admitting that sometimes I genuinely don't know. Someone is talking about the war in Kosovo? Okay, sure, but first let me ask some questions so I can really understand what we're talking about. And I ask a lot of questions sometimes. I sometimes even open the Notes app and write in some questions that I later want to find the answers to. These are my latest. How does the time work in a black hole? Why some snails have shells and others don't? What food is okay for ducks? How does the light bulb work? The old ones with gas inside them. And does everyone see colours the same? And how can we know that? Alright, sorry for the long introduction, but it was kind of necessary for understanding what kind of person I am. I know that sometimes I might come across as annoying. Now, onto the problem. His parents hosted a small barbecue last weekend only for the family. So it was his mum, who is 54, his dad, who is 59, his 2 brothers, and their wives, who are both 27 years old. I was the last person who showed up because I had to work late. I entered the house, and when I was walking towards the back of the house, into the backyard, I heard John's mum talking about me. To be honest, she wasn't talking about me, more like mocking me. I heard her say in a high-pitched voice, "How does the sun work? Where should I put the fork? Why does nobody like me? How do I wipe my butt?" I just stood there. I had this sinking feeling. I couldn't move, so I just stood there. And I heard them all laughing. One of the wives said, "I actually don't mind her always asking questions. I think it's cute." And it made me feel hopeful that they'll say something like, "Yeah, sure, we're just playing. We love that." But none of them did. Instead, the mum replied, "It's not cute. She's just stupid." After that, they laughed again. And I heard John laughing. My heart kind of broke in that moment because he didn't even say one positive thing. He didn't defend me. He just laughed. I quietly turned around and left the house. I texted John saying that I got sick and have to stay home. Now I'm wondering, how should I approach this situation? We live together, and I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom for now, and I'm using the excuse that I don't want him to get sick from being around me. But I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore. It's been too long. I'm not sure how to proceed. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm also worried that they won't be honest with me. I can't marry him if he really thinks I'm stupid, but I also can't marry into a family who thinks so little of me. But maybe it was a joke and I shouldn't take it so seriously. I'm so torn apart, and every day I convince myself a bit more that it's okay, and sometimes we should all laugh about ourselves. Now I feel like I'm going crazy. I'd really appreciate some advice. Okay, before we get into my personal thoughts on this one, and then of course on to the first update. Firstly, OP has left some comments down below, a little edit, addressing some people that have said that they really don't like people like OP. She says, "There are many comments saying that they cannot stand people like me. I agree that sometimes I can be a bit too much with the questions, but with that being said, I still think I'm within reason. I don't do it around people I just met. I rarely do it at parties or other gatherings. I usually do it with people who are close to me, who I think won't judge me, or with people who specifically have knowledge about something and are willing to share it. If I'm a part of a conversation, I'm not rude and I'm not interrupting, I usually just ask 1 or 2 questions. If a discussion is about the climate change, I'm not asking about monkeys, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm also not a complete idiot. I don't ask questions which generally would be considered dumb to other people. Those I just write in the notes and check answers later in the internet. I'm capable of reading, so I make good use of it. But after all, I still do ask questions a lot. Okay, first of all, I've got to say that I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions at all. And I ask myself this: who would I rather be in a conversation with? Somebody that's asking maybe a few too many questions, but someone that's asking questions and is, curious about the conversation, admitting they don't know everything in the world, just like every other person ever, or someone who acts like they know everything. And to be honest, sometimes I do catch myself doing this and I'm like, don't do this. It's not good. Someone that is just a bit too stubborn and doesn't like to admit that they don't know something, and instead of asking, isn't really brave enough to do so, and just acts as if they know it instead. I would rather be with someone that says, you know what, yeah, that's actually interesting. I didn't know or don't know anything about that. Tell me. Surely that's better. Now, secondly, when we're coming on to OP's family-in-law to be, and particularly your husband to be, that's just not good at all. Even if it is a joke, firstly, you shouldn't be joking relatively maliciously, I'd argue, behind someone's back when they're going to be marrying into your family. And secondly, for your husband not to even give any sort of positive comment at all and just laugh is mental. I completely agree with you. If anything, I actually think it's worse than you're saying. But yeah, that is it for the initial post. Guys, get your comments down below. What do you think right now? 3 days later, though, we got this update. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to people who reached out to answer my questions about black holes, snails, ducks, light bulbs, and other stuff. I'd love to have you as my friends. For the other people who said I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying or hard to be around. I'm okay with that. I don't exist to please everyone. I'm just here for a good time, have my own interests, and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm so grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him, and at the very least confront him, so that's what I decided to do. You gave me a push and the confidence to do it. But before I did that, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said she liked me asking questions. I asked if we could meet up for coffee. She said, sure. We met, and I didn't see the point in pretending to her that I didn't hear their conversation. So, after some small talk, I just said, I heard you all talking about me during the barbecue. She immediately got sad and said she feels embarrassed. She explained that it wasn't a joke. It wasn't out of context. It was just mean and hurtful. She said she's sorry for not defending me more, but I said that it's okay and I understand. I told her that I don't blame her for anything and just wanted to make sure that I understand the situation and see it for what it really was. And it really was laughing about me behind my back. Just bullying. At this point, I just had to confront John. In my last post, so many comments were saying that he'll probably try gaslighting me. And you were right. We were having dinner together for the first time since the barbecue happened, because before I tried my best to avoid him. Yeah, I know that's not very mature of me, but other than you guys, I don't really have a strong support system. My family and best friends are hundreds of kilometers away. I only have 2 good friends here. I was so stressed, I thought I'm gonna pass out. My legs were shaking and I was terrified because I knew deep down that this is the moment where my 5-year relationship goes down the drain. I looked him in the eyes and I asked, how does the sun work? He looked confused, so I followed with, where should I put my fork? Why does nobody like me? At this point, realization hit him and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there and I heard them. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke, that I shouldn't be so uptight, that it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny, and I went to the guest to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he will be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother made similar comments before the barbecue. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to, but I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me. I don't know if I believe that either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I've ever known. He was my first and only partner. Remember guys, OP is 23. I have no outside perspective of this. I've got no experience. I need a moment to think. I'll be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me non-stop. He tried calling, but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings, and only later, when he realized that I might break up with him, did he start apologizing. The next day, I decided to give him another chance to explain himself, and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard them. I said, I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting, and I think that's true. She never got the chance or never had the desire to have an education. She's a very good homemaker, but outside of that, she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I'm asking her about making tomato soup, she'll talk for 30 minutes, lecturing me about adding enough sugar, but not too much. She'll lecture anyone who is willing to listen. But anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and tries to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, it shouldn't be discussed. And again, I go back to my previous point, guys. Who would you rather be in a conversation with? OP, who's happy to learn and is asking you questions, or OP's, well, let's see what happens with her husband-to-be, his mum, who just doesn't want to talk to you about anything that she doesn't know about. Once again, he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point, I'd had enough. I took off my ring and told him that his behavior is a joke, and I can't be the punchline. What a line that is, by the way. His behavior is a joke, and I can't be the punchline. Hold that. I told him that I wish him and his family the best, and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friends soon to pick up the rest of my stuff, and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you, I wouldn't have the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family. So I'm done with the relationship. I hope they'll treat his next girlfriend better. Thank you again, Reddit, for the advice. Now, before we get into the final update, posted 3 months after the original, first of all, here are some comments. Somebody said, keep on being curious, not judgmental, which I completely agree with. Now, that is actually a reference, as I'm sure a lot of you know, to Ted Lasso. Same, says OP. I absolutely love that show. I watched it with my ex, and it's funny that he didn't like Ted and thought that his character was not relatable and silly. To be honest, we all should have Ted's strength and positivity sometimes. Yeah, I kind of get that. At times, I would say that Ted could come across as perhaps a little bit overbearing and just annoying because he was so positive. But ultimately, you want somebody like that around you, right? Someone that's going to pick you up when you're down, someone that's always going to see the good side of life. So yeah, I agree with that. Somebody else said, OP, your ex-mother-in-law can still go and get an education, by the way. Many have, and there's still time. That's not an excuse for what she did, and her saying that and acting like that shows how uneducated she is. OP says, I think so too. I believe it's never too late to start learning something new and continue education. In my uni, there was an old lady in her 70s who recently graduated, and everyone was just so proud of her. In my country, university is free, so the barrier to entry isn't as bad as in the US, for example. Okay, so pretty much OP is saying, there's no excuse. Go and learn, you old bint. I'm not sure you can say that, but let's move into the update. So as I said, this was posted on the 28th of September, almost 3 months after the original. It's been some time since I posted the last time, so I thought I'm going to give you guys a small update because some people are still messaging me. I appreciate all the kind words. So, I've got my own apartment now. I lived with my friend for a while and she was an amazing support for me after the breakup, but now I have my own place closer to my university and work. It turns out my ex-fiance didn't tell his family that we broke up. I blocked them all except for the ex himself because we needed to keep in touch in order to get my stuff from the apartment that we shared, and my nice sister-in-law. And a week after the breakup, she texted me and asked when I'll come to the parents' house because everyone wants to apologize. I called her and said that we're no longer together and I don't really want their apology. Now she seemed shocked because my ex was telling them that we're fine, she just needs some time. She told me that the family is still fighting over this whole ordeal and that the brothers are giving my ex a hard time about the situation. I told her nicely that I don't really want any updates. I like her, but I cannot put my energy towards following their every move. She told me she understands. I don't know what happened after that with them. I'm happy. I went on a date with a cute guy I met in a cafe. But I'm taking everything slow and I don't want to rush any relationship. I'm not ready because just 3 months ago I was planning a wedding and right now I'm single and focusing on studying and work. When I graduate, I want to adopt a kitten and that is my only goal in terms of any big commitment right now. I also enrolled in CS50 by Harvard X and I recommend you all to try and learn something new today. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask and I'll try to answer in the comments. And boy, some people did have some questions. First of all, somebody said, update us on the kitten, please. I will for sure, says OP. I'm so excited. I wanted to get a cat for so long, but my ex was against it. He didn't like them. He was a dog person. I'm waiting till I graduate because I want to have more free time to actually take care of it. Somebody else asked, may I ask if you already went and picked your stuff up from his place and blocked him for good? I hope so for you to end the chapter more easily. OP says, yeah, I did that after a week and a half. I was completely done picking up my stuff. I tried not to be petty and take my silverware, for example, and not give him a reason to get mad. I didn't want to come alone, so I only went when my friend had the time to help me. He did though get mad when I took my air fryer. He loved it more than anything. I blocked him after I took everything that was mine. And then a comment on her ex's family. I think even though the brothers still think what the family said during the barbecue was funny, they're giving my ex a hard time because he let a good one go or something like that. They don't think they were in the wrong, but they're making fun of him for not standing up for me, and they're laughing at the fact that I broke up with him and he didn't even have the balls to tell them. One of them said that if someone called his wife stupid, he would defend her even if she would have done something dumb. Okay, sorry, there's a lot to unpack there, and I disagree with a lot of the stuff that these people are saying. Firstly, you're laughing at somebody else's wife or wife-to-be, and the fact that her husband-to-be hasn't defended her, yet you're saying that you would defend your wife if somebody else was calling her stupid. So how about just don't call anyone stupid in the first place? That's very, very hypocritical. Secondly, they just don't seem like very good people. Anyway, here is the final comment. Somebody said, it actually seems like you've moved on very easily. From love to engaged and then blocked within a few weeks. Yeah, the love faded really fast. I didn't expect it. The attachment to him is still there, but I very quickly stopped feeling love for him when I fully realized that he sees me as stupid and at the very least, not on his level. So there we go. That is the end of that one. And yeah, all in all, I would say that despite the fact that it was a pretty tough story at times to read, and I feel bad for you, OP, that your husband-to-be's family was just laughing at you behind your back, at least you found out right now. And I think the last point is very, very important, right? You seem to have moved on pretty quickly, which I think shows that ultimately you know now that he wasn't the right man for you in your life. Like, it's not as if you're groveling over him thinking, oh, why did he have to do this behind my back? Why are his family so horrible? No, you've moved on because you've realized that this wasn't going to be the right thing for you anyway. And yeah, of course, the attachment is still there, and I'm sure there is still a lot of love there. But yeah, the fact that you're already going on another date 3 months later when you've been with him for 5 years and we're engaged, it's a pretty good sign, to be fair, as far as a good sign can be when you've just broken up with your fiance. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Would you have been as hasty as OP breaking up with your fiance? Would you have perhaps given the situation more time? Or do you think that OP did the exact right thing here? I personally do. But I want to know your thoughts. If you want more right away, make sure to click this video or episode on screen. Also link down below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe, follow, whatever the button is on whatever platform you're on, and you'll never miss one of these stories.